He's got a little break in his voice. Mm-hmm. It's a little bit Rocky Balboa calling for Adrian.
Yeah. He has Norman Reedus punch him in the windpipe directly before that scene.
So then we have this really weird cut of like zombies gnashing on stuff.
Yeah.
Which, if you recall the catch-up cast we did over the winter, we talked about this when Jim got, not Jim Jones, but Jim on The Walking Dead got turned into a zombie.
Yeah, remember him?
When he was starting to turn, you kept on getting these like rapid cuts of the scenes of zombies. And I'm like, is that what's going on in his head when he's turning? And we're like, well, no, maybe he's just
like,
having...
oh, it's the flashbacks to the guys who busted into the
But
camp.
apparently in this show's language, the scenes of the zombies are... with the violent cuts and the loud music is the signifying that someone's turning into a zombie.
Yeah.
What do you think about that convention?
I'm cool with it. I kind of like it.
Now that you actually see it?
Yeah, now that I understand that is, in fact, what they're doing. That, to me, is like the zombies formatting their brain. Like formatting the Z drive in their brain, you know?
Like it. So he gets up, and Carl confronts Rick... And, Rick starts pleading for his life, and Carl shoots Shane.
Yeah.
If you're going to go through the trouble of, as you say, insulting our intelligence to where Carl's going to follow them out here, why not have it like in the comic book where Carl gets a drop on Shane and shoots him?
Yeah. And he... I don't know. I felt like this was kind of effective the second time I saw it because... he has just murdered Shane, and Carl sees this. I'm not sure Carl sees that, actually.
No, I don't
think he does, and I think it's because of a preview for next episode, but I'm not gonna go there. Mm-hmm. Anyway, so he murders Shane, a guy who Carl genuinely looks up to, and he's, for all intents and purposes, had a better relationship with Shane than his father.
That's questionable.
Okay, yeah, but it's certainly... he definitely has a connection to this guy.
Sure, okay.
And his father has just murdered him. He sees him dead. I'm going to go ahead and say that he does see him kill him. I kind of feel like the kid is confused, and there's a genuine danger here that he's going to shoot his dad. Until Shane stands up and starts lumbering toward him. So I felt it was effective. I was genuinely tense during that scene, thinking, "Oh man!"
I'm of the opinion that the comic book, the comic book way where Shane gets shot by Carl was way more effective. Now, I've read a note from Kirkman and Mazzara where they said, "Well, we've had problems with Rick being indecisive, so we changed it up just to make him have that moment where he's seizing the leadership role." And I'm like,
no,
that's your fault. If you are in a position where you had to do a less impactful scene, so you think Carl shooting Shane would have been less effective than Rick doing it?
No. I think it's different. I think they both work.
And to me, it felt like having Carl shoot the zombie Shane was sort of a...
it didn't mean much for that kid. It meant...
No, I don't know. I just think it felt like a weak homage to the comic. Or like a nod, a wink to the fans. And I judging by most of the fan reaction I saw, they didn't dig it. Like, if you're a comic fan...
Yeah, and I feel that. Coming from Carl's perspective, you've got to think shooting a live human being who you look up to makes more of an impression on you than shooting a zombified guy who's trying to kill your dad.
Right, and it sets up the fact that Carl and Rick have each other's back. Mm-hmm. They're like ride or die for each other.
Yeah. So, all right. So I coming from that perspective, yeah, I can see the comic book version being more effective. And apparently this shot is the shot heard around the world. The zombies wake up.
Yeah,
1.5 million zombies. Apparently they didn't hear the gunshot that Shane fired from the exact same location, but Carl's gunshot, yeah, they hear that, so they're up and about. Mm-hmm. Again, Andrea shot a fucking rifle. How long ago? They've been doing goddamn target practice on the farm.
Now, I don't have a problem with that because I think that this is the chickens coming home to roost. That these zombies have been around and kind of maybe even walking and homing in on all the bullshit, crazy stuff that's been going on here. And as like Herschel said, well, now that the swamp's drying up and, you know, we've had the problem with the fence being breached, it's like now all this stuff is like...
It's a good point about the swamp.
Yeah. And again, I you know, when I used to do the survival, when I had more time in my life and I used to do the survival reviews, I kind of wept each week that these people weren't building fortifications and things like that. And now that all this kind of wasted time is coming home to roost. So, yeah.
Yeah, so it's interesting. We'll see what happens with that next week. A lot of zombies on the prowl now. That's it for the episode.
Yep.
I'm going to do Zombie Kill of the Week. I got to give that to Carl.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. Shoots right past his dad. Kills Shane. Idiot Survivor of the Week goes to Lori. Congratulations, Lori. Once again, you get Idiot Survivor of the Week.
She might get a Lifetime Achievement Award for that.
Maybe so.
Uh-huh.
Maybe so.
I wonder what she would say. I wonder what these people would say if you got them on the air and like asked, you know, if you gave them kind of hardball questions. Like, so when you see the script for Lori, what do you think as a woman? How do you feel about, you know, being used as a mouthpiece to promote bad information about reproductive care? I mean, I don't know. Yeah. Maybe I'm a bastard.
I don't know. The actors, I feel bad for in a lot of ways because they're in a tough place. You know, you can't.
But the other thing is, Walking Dead is one of the top 10 TV shows on currently.
Yeah.
So, you know, they could be in. I'm trying to think. 2.5 Men. Okay.
Sure.
Hell, John Barenthal had a guest starring appearance like 2 years ago on How I Met Your Mother.
Oh.
This is way better than that, and they're getting to do way more interesting things in a much higher profile.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm being a little hard on them for...
I feel like their answer would probably be something along the lines of the issues need to be brought up and addressed, and I'm the one I'm the conduit through which that issue is addressed.
But, you know, it's interesting because when we talked to Taylor Elmore on the Justified interview we did, and he talks about how involved Tim Oliphant is with his character, and like, just I want this to be just right. Do you think that the actors have that kind of input with the current crew of The Walking Dead, and if so, do they just not give a shit and not listen? Because
that is a lot of speculation for me to do. I don't know anything that goes on with the writing or the production of this thing.
That's something actors would do. It's like, well, why am I saying this?
But are they given the opportunity?
And the other thing, it's hard to tell on a shoot, like how this isn't going to be stitched together. Also,
Timothy Olyphant's a big star. These guys were basically nobody.
Someone asked me at the beginning, like, why Shane's face was as fucked up as it was, because it seemed like it was a slight continuity error, that it was last week more healed than it was this week. And it's interesting because I said last week that I thought the sequence of these things were slightly out of order. That I thought that it would make more sense if they had the trial of Randall, try and execute him and fail, and then have the episode where they go to the Department of Public Works and try to abandon him and have that shit go bad, and then go into this week's episode where they deal with the aftermath of that. And I wonder if that's what the original shooting order was, and then for some reason they decided to reorder it and do a couple of reshoots. Because, in my opinion, a couple of feedback I got, Shane's face looked there. People said, "What the hell happened to Shane's face at the beginning of this episode?" Because he had this big red welt on it, which I don't think was there last week, or it looked like it was more healed.
Yeah, I don't remember noticing it as much last week. I certainly noticed it this week, though.
Anyway, so you have anything else to talk about?
No, I don't.
Should we go to feedback?
Yeah.
And it's all over the map.
I bet it is.
So let's talk about it. Michael M. says, this episode was a 0 for me. I think it pretty much insulted viewer intelligence left and right.
Yep.
It had a good final 30 seconds, but that's about it. I'm afraid the show is starting to jump the shark for me, and it's too bad. I hope there's a twist I'm not expecting to bring me back in, but I'm not sure what it could be. Rick is a terrible leader, indecisive, with bad instincts. I don't know where they could go, where we could count on him to lead them. It won't be Daryl or Glenn and T-Dog. Don't make me laugh. Carl's actually the best candidate at this point. They for damn sure can't contain him or stop him. I'm not sure how they've managed to let that happen. Even the preview for the finale emphasizes Rick's bumbling incompetence. Sheesh. Huh. I'm
very
curious,
good points.
I'm curious to see the promo in the spoiler section when we review it to see if because I don't remember that. But yeah, hard to argue with that. That's pretty much our take. So let's move on to the next.
Right.
Mike from NC says, "Hey guys, love the podcast. It's great. Shane's finally dead, but I'm a little sadder than I predicted. But I knew it was destined to be. A lot of new changes, but ready to get off the farm and into the location that we will not mention because it's a spoiler. Now Rick can grow, and we can see what Daryl can really do as his new right-hand man. He thinks Merle is going to be the new handless man instead of Rick, and hopefully show up with the character who we are not going to mention because it's a spoiler and causes stress between the groups. They also seem like they are set up Andrew to be the new voice of humanity since Dale died. Also, they played the cold open music before the credits this time. Oh. I think that that's a point that I kind of touched on. That yes, Andrea seems to have had a personality reboot because of the death of Dale.
Yeah.
Which that is a believable reason for you to change. You have a change of heart, and especially since they hinted again. That's why last episode is pretty effective. They gave this hint that she was in the comics. I think they mentioned she's a law clerk. They ran to that, upgraded her to a full blown civil rights attorney. You rebooted her back to her previous personality inclination. That makes sense.
Yeah, a bit.
So I dig that. Wasted Kitten writes in, what up, guys? Just want to comment on this. Anyone feel like Lori was stabbing Rick in the back with that talk with Shane? Like it seemed like she was trying to pit them together to see who the winner would be. I thought that was an absolute bitch move on her part. Also, I noticed Rick's accent slipping in and out. I agree with all those things. And I notice, like, when he starts whispering or gets that little throaty rasp, that's when he, like, is not feeling the accent and he just wants to pretty much give a generic Americanized British accent and get away with it.
I feel like he's got a couple meters in his head. One is accent and one is acting, like emoting. And that you can't have both at full throttle. One suffers because of the other.
David W. says, OMG, I haven't been this pissed at a show since that damn Fern Gully magical non-answer lost finale. The bad. Lori's the dumbest human being alive ever, telling Shane she didn't know whose kid it was, a week or two after all but telling Rick he should kill him, and a day or two after they'd obviously had a fight over the other. Jesus H. Christ. Looks like almost certainly what Jenner told Rick will be that everyone is infected already now. Yeah. Which is lame. Maybe in a fit of good writer, some of the other characters will be super pissed he hid this from them, but I doubt it. Good point. We haven't talked about that. Rick has, I think, portrayed kind of surprise at the growing revelation that, you know, maybe people don't have to be infected by a zombie to die and raise as one. If that's what Jenner told him, it's going to... Well, I mean, obviously, they can just roll over it and have us accept it, right?
They will.
You think that's what's going to happen?
Guaranteed. Either that or Rick's going to continue to play dumb and Daryl's going to spot it. Say, I don't believe you.
Knew about this.
Yeah.
How would they, I mean, at this point, why would he even come clean? The secret's out, so why would he go, yeah, I kind of knew about this the whole time?
Yeah, I mean, the only way I see him mentioning it is if he gets caught not acting confused enough. Like, I don't get it. Bullshit.
The pussing out of Carl actually shooting Shane to save his dad, at least the way it was cut, it looked like Carl even raised his gun at his dad before zombie Shane was moving. And yes, it was cut that way.
And I think for a reason.
So you think that Carl originally was pointing the gun at his old man?
I think so, yeah. That's why I said I thought he saw him kill him.
I don't like that, but... I have a hard time saying why or articulating a case against it.
Yeah.
And will somebody please fucking keep an eye on a 12-year-old kid in a zombie apocalypse with an armed hostile is wandering about? Although Lori had probably self-imposed kitchen duties. Yeah, them cucumbers aren't going to slice themselves.
Yeah, that's true.
Those dishes aren't going to do themselves. Continuing with David W.'s thoughts, Rick realized what Shane was doing but still went along with it and even holstered his gun for Shane to shoot him. Yeah, I mean... Again, it was a great written show or a great written scene, and that was Rick's like final chance, and he was risking his life. This doesn't make sense, man. If you really think that Shane's a threat, and that he's going to do this to your wife and child, why
I'm telling you, man, he's a terrible, terrible leader.
I don't know.
Shane points it out in that scene. He's a horrible leader.
Obviously, he'll holster the gun just so he could completely lull Shane into thinking he's got the upper hand so he could sneak up and knife him. Because, let me play devil's advocate here for a minute. Rick has seen Shane shoot.
Sure.
Shane was the weapons instructor.
He's not going to miss.
In the county, apparently. He's probably can outdraw and outshoot Rick, and Rick's no slouch himself.
Sure.
So maybe Rick thought his only hope was to get Shane confused, sneak up, and knife him, because if he just tried to pull the gun, he was going to get Rayland.
Yeah. And Shane was purposefully staying behind Rick as well. He was staying a good distance behind him on their journey back.
Yeah. Speaking of which, the rate at which people turn into zombies is increasing at an astounding rate. We went from Andrea's sister taking almost a day to Shane taking about a minute. Although maybe if you die by, oh wait, I'm not going to think about something that will never be explained. And then he says, "Waltz," which I don't get that. Is that a Breaking Bad reference?
No, it's a Lost reference.
Oh, right. Right, I forget. I blocked that from my memory.
Yeah.
The late Shane actually expresses how dumb Lori is to Rick. Yeah, you're what do you say? Your woman's broken and your son's weak.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Whew. Glenn getting his zombie killing mojo back. Hopefully built his confidence up enough to get us another side tit scene. 13-year-olds of the world rejoice. Hey, man, 35 years here, I would not mind seeing more of that.
She is a fine-looking lady.
The spoiler guy knows his shit, apparently. Yes, he does.
Wow, yeah.
He has basically called 2.5 this whole... from the beginning of 2.5.
I think it's
our mask
Glenn
spoiler
Mazzara
man. And a lot of...
us.
I tell you, a lot of, like, it's become fairly common knowledge for the heavy-duty spoilers to break the day or two after the this week's episode is released. But our source had it, this scene...
Yeah,
from
I saw
before,
a screenshot.
Yeah, from before the first episode of the season 2.5.
Yeah.
So... yeah, he did the same thing with Sophia, so he's got my complete full faith and credit at this point.
Yep.
Next week's looks badass. Going to be hard to fit in time for Carl to wander around and long kitchen rants with that many zombies closing in, but I could be proven wrong. Brian KW from Long Island. Another great episode. So we have a voice of dissent here.
Okay.
A few things. I think they stole the opening sequence from Office Space, referring to the scene where they destroy the printer.
Yeah, yeah.
I actually, when we were watching that, I said I want to make a YouTube clip of that where, and we cut the die motherfucker music to the background of it. Shane got his due, but it was a strange scene. You would have thought that they were walking around for hours out in the middle of nowhere. Turns out they're right by the farm. Strange. Yes.
Well, they were on their way back, but it's a bad place to do that.
Yes. If T-Bone doesn't get any real
T-Bone.
Doesn't get any real line soon, I'm calling the NCAA and Al Sharpton. Yeah, where the hell is Al and Jesse on this one?
They're probably not watching The Walking Dead.
They should be, because there's some bullshit happening.
I agree.
The group is hopeless without Dale. They should just form a suicide pact and end the show. Zombie Kill of the Week should be Carl's. It wasn't very graphic, but it was a big step. So, complete agreement with you on there, Jim.
Sweet.
Brian H., the plane Nazi. Do you remember him?
Plane Nazi.
Yeah, the one that the guy that lost his shit on me when I said there was two 727s collided, and he set me straight.
Yeah, from our Breaking Bad podcast.
Yeah. Good to see you again, Brian. Hey, what's up, guys? Overall, I really liked this episode. The cinematography was unbelievable, especially the floating head shot of Shane, where he was staring at Randall in the shed, and the wide establishing shot when Rick and Shane had their final showdown under the moonlight.
Yeah.
Ooh, that was a good scene.
That was a really good shot.
I actually put the notes that the cinematography on that was great, and obviously the on-location shooting paid off. And that was a no-shit night scene. Like, I feel like that was a... that's another thing when I'm grilling Glenn Mazzara is like, did you shoot that underneath a real full moon?
Yeah.
Because that's hard to fake that kind of moonlight. Where was I? He goes, it was possibly my favorite shot of the entire series, although not as iconic as some shots, but it was so picturesque, I don't think I'll ever forget it. I've been waiting for that scene to happen since you guys read those spoilers way back when. It was exactly how I imagined it. The zombie apocalypse took a major new twist now that we know everyone who dies in this world reanimates. It's going to make for a much more interesting interaction between our survivors, and as they inevitably meet up with our Randall's group of other survivors. Oh, and holy shit, that's a fuckload of walkers swarming the farm. Looks like Lori's going to bitch face on Rick in the season finale. Boy, is she a horrible character. Just glad I have Winona and Ava on Justified to remind me of that all television doesn't think women are this stupid.
No shit.
By the way, this guy opened up with, overall, I really like this episode.
Yeah, and then proceeds to rip at a new asshole.
I also love that Herschel has donned his big boy pants, is not fucking around anymore. Agreed. Mm-hmm. One of my favorite scenes from the comic is when Herschel freaks out on Rick and threatens to kill him. Then we see Carl in one panel raising his gun to take a drop on Herschel. We all know this, he doesn't, but it was still a high-tension moment.
Especially, yeah, because of what happened with Shane.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait for next week. And one more thing, Aaron. Sorry about Peyton. Good luck with luck. All right. This keeps coming up. I will talk about sports. Here's how I feel about Peyton Manning.
I'll be back.
I feel like the dude whose girlfriend broke up with him, and I can't help but stalk her on Facebook because, goddamn, like I keep on hearing about all the new teams he's going to and all the opportunities he's have, and I'm left with this gawky looking, 22-year-old who hell might pull an Eli on us and refuse to be traded since we basically fire sold every quality team member that we have on this goddamn team. So I am like Glenn 3 episodes ago. I am a man that's progressively shitting his pants as I'm watching the ESPN ticker feed and thinking that it's going to be it's been, a nice decade run, and it's coming to a close, and I'm sad about it. So I thank you for your sensitivity there, Brian, and will now return you to your regularly scheduled discussion of Walking Dead. Eddie says, Lori should be fed to the walkers, or at least given them to use as toothpicks, because she is worse for the group than the walkers would be. After the group gets slapped in the face with Dale's death, they seem to finally start getting their shit together. Shane was, of course, still being the asshole bully that he was all through high school, but he seemed to be spanked into place by Rick. That is, until Lori stirs him up by telling him how wonderful he is and how great the sex was. And now wait a second.
Yeah, I don't think she said that.
Welcome back, Jim, by the way.
No problem.
Shane is just enough of an asshole to know, quote unquote, know that she really wants him no matter what she says around Rick. And why the hell can't she keep track of her kid? Either Carl's a mutant who can walk through walls, or Lori's a shitty mother. There's no other explanation for a child out in the middle of the field in the dark at the edge of a zombie-filled woods.
Yep.
Yeah, I speculated that Frodo gave him the One Ring. Some people on Reddit were wondering if Harry Potter had loaned him the Cloak of Invisibility. Yeah, having the powers of Kitty Pryde is another reasonable explanation for what we're seeing here.
Yep.
The explanation for Shane and Randall turning into a walker after they're killed is simple. Okay, so this is interesting.
All right.
And one of the reasons I read this email. He's going to try to play contrarian because we're all saying everyone's infected. The well walker that broke in half and dumped its guts back into the well has contaminated the entire water table. Now all the wells on the property are contaminated, and the group has been drinking the water as well as giving it to Randall, slowly ingesting the pathogen that created the walkers. This easily explains how they could be carrying a small amount of the pathogen, but not turning into walkers until their body's immune system cease functioning after death. Just a thought. What do you think?
I like it.
I have another fuel for the fire.
Okay.
We saw Shane unsafely handle a zombie-contaminated blade just 2 episodes ago. And Randall, too, went a little overboard in killing that one zombie, got blood all over him. Arguably, these people have been contaminated by direct contact with zombie fluids.
Yeah. So yeah, if it's not enough to actually, like, give it full hold over him.
Now, I don't buy this theory, Eddie. I think it's a solid one. I don't think that's what's going to happen just because of what's, I feel like they're definitely pushing us down this path of everyone's affected, but that is still enough to, keep us a little bit in doubt. Great job on the cast, guys. I listened to this in the Justified cast, which is the best show on TV, in my opinion.
It's really good.
It's really good.
Really good.
Seeing season 2 and 3 reminds me a lot of season 3 and 4 of Breaking Bad, where it went from being a great show to like all-time top 5 pantheon level.
Definitely.
And he also praises the sound of our cast as being very good. And as a touring front of house sound engineer, I know. Keep up the good work.
Oh, well, thank you.
We feel very good about that because we've spent a lot of time and know-how trying to get this right. So if you listen to any of our very early Blue Yonder casts, not always been the case.
No, pretty bad. Pretty bad.
Our bald move poet laureate, Tom G., writes us and says, guys, pull up a chair, boys and girls, and let Uncle Tom tell you how TV used to be. This is a formula that was applied to crime drama from 2.7 million times about 2.7 million times in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. First, the quote-unquote bad guy got the drop on the quote-unquote good guy and holds him at gunpoint. Then the double finger quote good guy engaged the double finger quote bad guy in a long-winded conversation, and then the good guy prevailed by pouncing at the exact right moment to disarm the bad guy. Usually this involved the good guy lunging at or karate chopping the wrist of the bad guy. On the highest quality dramas, there would inevitably be a catchphrase, book 'em, who loves you, baby, etc. Boom, week in, week out, Mannix, Cannon, Barnaby Jones, and Kojak would get the bad guys. But it's never been done in a zombie apocalypse until now. There were 700,000 ways this could have been better. Rick shoots Shane cold-blooded. Stand over him and say, you were right, Shane, it is a new world. Shane draws on Rick from behind. Crack of stick. Both look stage left to see a deer. Rick sees Shane, draws and kills him. Carl kills Shane comic book style as Shane draws down on Rick. Speaking of Carl, how the hell did he get out of that house? Overall, solid, just a little formulaic at the end for me. Solid points.
I agree wholeheartedly.
Solid points there, Tom. Frackin' Toaster, who has decided to come out from underneath the pseudonym as Brian from Boston. Decided he gave the BSG reference enough rep. That was an awkward transition. I apologize. Good episode. Rick's indecision on the Randall matter makes Lori sympathize with Shane, and she picks the worst possible time to show Shane a little humanity. Yes.
Yes, she does.
And I want to talk about this here for a minute.
Okay.
Her speech to him at the windmill plays directly into his delusion that he owns her and Carl, which leads him to hatch his plan, and what a half-assed plan it was. Daryl called bullshit right away. Rick didn't seem to believe a word of it either, and aside from that, the opening sequence and the juxtaposition of the zombie ass-whooping and Dale's funeral, it was honestly moving. But really, I'm calling the writers out. Give T-Dog something to do or kill him. You're taking the token black guy thing way too far.
No kidding. Rick sends him back to the house this episode.
That's like, uncomfortable. Yeah, I'm not even going to go down there.
I'm not going any farther than that, but that's fucked.
I understand a lot of why Lori couldn't do this, but you got to think that if her and Rick both had handled Shane just a little bit better, like, you know...
Yeah, that's the problem I have with Rick's leadership. He doesn't know how to handle Shane, his kid, his wife, nothing.
But yeah, I mean... This whole... I know she thought that Shane lied to her about Rick, which doesn't make sense if you know somebody.
And I think she outs herself here as not actually believing that. Believing that he did what he needed to do. She says as much at the beginning.
If she'd have done this the whole time, I think Shane could have, like, accepted all this. But what she did, as we've talked about before, ad nauseum at this point, like I said, it was too little too late on the humanity thing. If she'd done that last season and earlier in this season, maybe. But as it just pushed him over the edge. Yep. Sandy W.
He should have told her to tell it to the frogs.
Walking Dead has driven me crazy this season, but your podcast always makes me appreciate it a bit more. I'll finish the season at least. I think... that everybody shitting on episode, me and Jim included, will be happy with where we end up in Season 2, and I predict that there will be even a bigger season premiere for Season 3. And now, halfway through Season 3, and the same shit's going on, then we'll have some talking to do. But I still have hope that they're going to pull this out. Malika B says, this episode was awesome. I have to admit, for a minute during the showdown, I thought Beta Rick was going to get himself killed, but damn, the Alpha was in kill mode. Lure and strike. I could not help but notice how fast Shane Zombie rose compared to Amy Zombie, who took hours. Does being good or bad affect the time it takes to rise? the hell, I don't think the writers know.
Maybe.
It's whatever is dramatically appropriate.
Yeah.
I did chuckle a little in the second viewing because it reminded me of the zombie comedy Fido, where in his dying breath, one guy said, "I want a head casket." So you're the zombie historian. Do you know what the hell she's talking about?
I haven't seen this. This is the one with Trinity from The Matrix. It's got, what's her name?
Whoa, Kate Ann Moss?
Carrie Ann Moss.
Carrie Ann
right?
Moss.
Yeah.
You haven't seen a zombie film?
I have not seen this one. It looked weird to me because it's like this suburban mom with like a zombie as a pet. It's very weird.
I think that would make you even more hot for it.
I'm more a traditional zombie movie kind of guy.
Really?
Yeah, I like blood and gore and all that sort of good stuff.
So you're against like?
I just haven't gotten around to watching this one.
You don't believe in gay zombie marriage?
Yeah, I'm a zombie Republican.
A conservative, social conservative. Come on.
Yeah.
Let's keep it clean now, Jim. Okay, so God, we're going to take some heat for that one.
Of course.
Let's go to the outro, or do you have anything else to get us in trouble with?
No, go ahead and do the outro.
If you want to keep up with everything that we're doing at Bald Move, which is burgeoning, it's including The Walking Dead, we've got Breaking Good, we've got the classic Mad Men coming up, we got Game of Thrones, we got Justified ongoing, the best show on television right now, Justified. Go to baldmove.com. You can email us at watchingdead@baldmove.com if you'd like us to read your thoughts on the air. Facebook.com/baldmove is where you find me on Twitter, and Twitter @baldmove is where you find Jim on the internet. I got to thank you guys so much for continuing to support us on iTunes. We've got so many reviews and so many positive things, and it makes me feel good to see.
Yeah, we're approaching one of the most reviewed Walking Dead podcasts on iTunes.
Yeah.
I think they're in the 160s. We're in the 140s.
And is directly, there are so many Walking Dead casts. I think this is the most crowded casting show that we're doing as far as competition.
Certainly.
And we've come from nowhere 6 months ago to we're at the top of the results, and all because you people have taken some time out of your lives to click some freaking stars and put a couple words in there, and we thank you so much because
absolutely
it's fun for us to see the cast grow and to get more feedback and to build that community. If you'd like to help contribute to help pay for our bandwidth and keep the lights on at the Bald Move headquarters, you can do that. Again, we're not asking for any money. If you're buying stuff on Amazon anyway, use the amazon.baldmove.com link. That takes you right to Amazon with our affiliate tag intact. You can also, if you can't remember, always just go to baldmove.com and click our banner at the top. You get the same prices at Amazon. You get the same shipping. All that stuff is the same great stuff, except for we get.
But you also get our love.
You also send a little bit of love to us, and we appreciate that for the people that do that. It helps us cover the costs, and we appreciate that. So that's all I got. We got one last mega spoiler.
You didn't want to talk about Facebook
season.
or Twitter or any of that stuff?
I did.
Did you?
Yeah.
I thought you went right into iTunes.
No, I didn't. Did you? Were you hiding from the sports talk again?
I was. I was preparing to take us out.
All right. Well, preparation complete. Initiate takeout sequence.
That is it for this week. Next week's episode is going to be called Beside the Dying Fire. And until then, I'm Jim.
And I'm Aaron. See you next week.
No, see you in the spoilers.
See you in the spoilers. The exclusive, sexy, awesome spoiler section where Carl sneaks in every week.
And we're back. Go ahead and roll the promo for next week.
On the season finale of AMC's The Walking Dead.
Oh my God. You're gonna take them all on. Oh, this is my farm. I'll die here. My hands are clean. I didn't ask for this.
A special look at a scene from next week.
His hands are clean.
Oh, what a fucking shock. Carl's gone again. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, I like how she just she notices She knows that Carl's missing, and the length of time it took him to walk all the way across that field, shoot a guy, and
she suddenly freaked out by it. She never gives a shit.
I feel like she heard the gunshot and like looked up from her cucumber pile and like, oh my God, where's my kid?
Yeah, her mountain of cucumber slices.
Yeah.
All right, so let's roll through this one again real quick.
All right.
We got a missing Carl up front.
Mm-hmm.
We got an army of
zombies. Hightailing it towards
this is the
guys.
moment that I've been waiting for to get them off the fucking farm.
Yes.
Like,
we wondered how they're going to do it, and this is how. We see Herschel declaring war on zombies. Mm-hmm. And we see the zombies are just attacking the barn. And
somebody must be in that barn. I wonder if Carl and Rick don't run to that barn.
Oh, to take shelter?
Yeah.
What do you think about Daryl there sniping zombies from his fucking motorcycle?
Fucking awesome.
That's like
man.
something out of Grand Theft Auto, man.
Yeah.
Or Saints Row.
If someone else tried it, I wouldn't believe it.
Yeah.
But Daryl can do it.
Carol's threat. You think, man, Carol might not make it.
She might not.
I feel like there's going to be people that die.
Maggie certainly gets attacked. We see that at the end of this.
And
but we don't know. God, if she dies, I'm out. I'm done.
I haven't read it yet, but I've got the spoilers.
We owe it to our listeners to read these.
Okay, so before we read, let's put a little Deadpool. Rick.
Rick is going to survive. Obviously. Carl is going to survive.
Lori.
Going to survive.
Herschel.
Dead. Yeah.
Glenn.
Survive.
Maggie.
Survive, please.
Did I say Daryl already?
No. Survive. Daryl's never going to die.
T-Dog.
Dead. These guys don't give a shit about him.
Carol.
He demanded that second line last episode, and they said that's one too many. Get him out of here.
Yeah, Carol.
Carol... Nah, I'll say survive. Why not?
Andrea.
Survive. Oh, yeah.
Beth.
Survive. Sure.
The other one.
The other blonde-haired kid?
Yeah.
Dead.
The other one's boyfriend. Or is that Beth's?
No, that's Beth's husband.
No, that was Otis.
No, she's married to him, right?
No, they're high school sweethearts. They've been dating for 3 weeks.
And now she's married to him.
What?
I don't know.
Quit fucking with me, man.
I thought that's what she said when she
Dead
was
or alive?
on her deathbed. He's dead.
Okay, so now we play this. I'll tell you what happens.
All right. Yeah, wait, you don't want to predict who's going to die?
I think...
Just say, who do you think is going to die?
Beth
Okay.
and Patricia. Both are going to die.
All right.
So the shot opens in Atlanta. A group of walkers are feasting on what looks like Rick's horse, or what's left of it, when they are startled by the sound of a helicopter flying overhead. Ooh, flashback. The horde migrates over several days, and even weeks, a great distance, and eventually comes to a fence. The fence bows and breaks under the relentless forward motion of the walkers. By the way, this was actually sent in by 4 different people, including our anonymous source. So
Wow.
I'm confident that this is how it's going to happen.
I like that they're showing the fence breaking.
Yeah, the herd presses on, wandering aimlessly into the forest. The walkers turn as a gunshot goes off like a beacon, leading them to dinner. Soon they're closing in on Rick and Carl as they leave the scene of Shane's murder. Glenn and Daryl arrive back at the farmhouse. They explain they heard a gunshot and share their confounding findings about Randall. As they walk back to the house, Carl asks Rick what happens to Shane. You see, Carl, when a man hates another man, sometimes he has to stick his knife into that man.
Yep.
Soon after, they notice the walkers bearing down on him, and it's not long before they're overtaken and have to make a run for the barn. Ooh, nice job there, Jim.
Oh, wow, cool.
Back at the house, the rest of the survivors are just figuring out that Carl's missing, and walkers are approaching. Lori is
Fucking
panicking.
idiots.
Herschel passes out guns. The horde is making quick work of the barn. Rick dumps gasoline everywhere, busts open the door to lure the zombies inside, climbs up to the loft with Carl. Carl drops a lighter into the gasoline-soaked hay, igniting everything in sight.
What?
Meanwhile, that's badass. Meanwhile, the men and Andrea shoot from their cars in a futile attempt to corral the herd and buy time. Finally, Daryl figures out that Rick and Carl must be in the barn and instructs Jimmy to drive the RV to the barn to rescue them. Rick and Carl manage to escape barely while Jimmy is devoured inside the RV. Blood is everywhere, coating the windshield. Survivors are starting to run out of ammo. The horde is too large. The women hold hands and make a run for it as Herschel makes a last stand for the farmhouse. They're just about clear when Patricia is attacked from the side and devoured, while Beth is still holding on to her. Carol is headed off by a few walkers.
Patricia gets eaten.
And backed into a corner with nothing but a plank of wood to defend herself. That's no way to refer to Lori. Andrea saves her, but is attacked from behind and gets pinned under a walker. T-Dog pulls his car around, but quickly has to leave the scene with Beth and Lori before the car is overtaken.
He leaves Andrea?
Yeah!
No.
Glenn tells Maggie that the farm is lost. They have to get off the farm. Herschel comes to the same realization almost too late as a walker sneaks up from behind. Rick saves Herschel, and then they, along with Carl, head out in their own direction. Glenn and Maggie take off as well. Daryl finds Carol about to collapse from running, and they speed off together on Daryl's motorcycle. Andrea is abandoned. The barn collapses into flames, and we're not even halfway done. The group is now scattered.
Whoa.
Glenn and Maggie switch places in the car as Maggie breaks down and can't continue driving. Glenn says they need to make their way to the highway, but Maggie protests that the herd came from that direction. Glenn finally tells Maggie that he loves her.
Wow.
Rick, Carl, and Herschel arrive at the highway where they left a care package for Sophia, hoping that the others will think to rendezvous there. Herschel's ready to part ways, but Rick wants to stick together. Lori and T-Dog argue over where to drive. T-Dog wants to head to the coast, but the plank of wood threatens to jump out of the car if he doesn't turn around and go back to the highway. A walker appears on the highway. Rick is about to give up waiting any longer, but in the nick of time, the other survivors arrive. Time for head count. Shane's dead, Andrew's missing, Patrician's eaten, and Jimmy is splattered. Meanwhile, Andrea is running for her life in the woods, but the walkers pursue her tirelessly as she can't keep this up for long.
She's dead.
These spoilers are very cinematic, by the way. Walkers are emerging from the trees in random directions as Andrea shoots to clear a path. The survivors leave the highway, pushing onward, but soon run out of gas. Several people start to panic and are on the verge of giving up. Rick tries to pull everyone together. The conversation turns to Randall and Shane. Rick has to come clean. He reveals that the secret Jenner whispered to him at the CDC was everyone is a carrier of the infection, and the group is not happy with Rick that he has kept this from him. No shit. Why would he bring this up at this point?
And who gives a fuck? This is not a season cliffhanger type thing.
Yeah, the writers definitely misunderestimated.
Yeah, they think we still care.
Rick and Lori talk privately. Rick tells her what went down with Shane and confesses it wasn't just self-defense. He wanted Shane dead. He was tired of Shane dogging him and acting like Rick stole Lori and Carl from him. Lori freaks out when she finds out Carl's role in Shane's death and withdraws from Rick, refusing to let him touch her. Oh boy.
Awesome.
Start the crazy train up again.
Yeah.
Andrea is exhausted. This is the end of the line. She can't carry her gun bag any longer. Her pistol's out of ammo. She bashes a walker's head in it. And as the walkers enclose her and tear her limb from limb.
Jesus, Andrea's dead?
That's not true.
Good.
Now she's down to knives. Another walker practically on top of her. Enter Michonne to save Andrea at the last minute, towing two armless walkers in chains, samurai sword in hand. What the fuck are people that did not read the comic going to make of this?
I don't know.
Do you know how fantastic this is going to, like, this, especially with the two walkers she got with the chain and a samurai sword?
Hey, man.
It's like you walked into a Tarantino movie all of a sudden.
Yep.
Wow. Ballsy move, writers. The rest of the survivors set up camp in the middle of nowhere. They may have found each other again amid the chaos, but the group is still broken. Many are ready to run off into the dark and leave Rick behind and fend for themselves. They're on the verge of splitting up again when Rick takes back control. He says they are not going anywhere. He killed his best friend for them. This is not a democracy. Wow.
Dictator Rick.
Yeah, he skipped Alpha, just went right to Dictator.
Yeah, he did.
Supreme Commander for life.
Wow.
The camera pans up, and in the distance looms a prison facility.
My question is, in Season 3, is it going to come back and he's changed his mind again? This is a democracy.
Yeah, everybody vote. Do we want to move into the prison? You know what? The fantastic thing about the prison is you could have 2 seasons there.
It's a good set.
It's a fantastic set. The whole clearing and the meeting of the survivors that they're going to meet there likely would consume like a whole season arc, and then you throw in the madness with the Woodbury group and and which I think they're going to probably. I think that they've already met them. That Randall's part of that group.
Yeah,
and we already know
I
they
do
casted
too.
the governor. My only question is Merle going to be with these dudes?
I
And
think so.
If he doesn't show up with this group next season, he's never going to show up.
Yeah, it's a red herring if he doesn't.
So, in the distance looms a prison facility. One of the many people that wrote us in, Brian H., he had some comments on this. He says, I'll take Shane, Dale, Jimmy, and Patricia trade for Michonne and her zombie boyfriend and his zombie best friend any day of the week. I literally ran around my living room after reading that Michonne is going to have an even more epic entrance than in the comic. That's pretty
Nice.
good. I see him as like Homer on the ground on the side going, whoop, 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 whoop. Damn. So this is why I think that if you are ready to give up with the show, that if you watch this next episode, you're going to be hooked.
It sounds awesome.
You're going to be hooked because, again, the prison actually is the one location they've been at where they can sustain a damn season. Like, the Quarry couldn't sustain a 6-episode run. They had to move to the CDC.
Yeah, and that was only 6 episodes. That was half a season, basically.
The fact that they thought that they could stretch the farm out to 13, ridiculous, and they paid the price, but there is...
Have
the other
they
thing that
paid the
gives me...
price? They haven't paid a price. They've got more fans than ever. It's the biggest show on
Yeah, but there's critical
basic
backlash.
cable for their demographic.
There's critical backlash, and that's usually the bellwether for audience losing interest, too. Because right now they're getting a lot of... There's zombie fans. In fact, there's nothing else on TV like this.
That's true. That is
However, Sepinwall reminded us on the podcast today that there is another season show, which I haven't actually seen, but I've heard is well regarded, that took a horrible misstep in season 2 before it finally rose to greatness, and that's Friday Night Lights.
true. I haven't seen that.
Season 1 was great. Season 2, was I guess an abortion. Like they changed characters around. They had a serial killer at one point. And like all the stuff that was not anything about
A football serial killer?
Yeah.
That seems a little weird.
And it's like somebody was playing had a volleyball career going. I like they talked about this and I thought it was a joke.
Yeah.
But then season 3, they I guess they did basically disowned that in season 3 and went on, and it's gotten critical acclaim and it was really popular. It's one of those things that's on my list of things to watch once I catch up with everything else. But
Yeah. I hear good things about it.
I think that's my after Homeland and after I catch up on Boardwalk Empire. That's after. Might be some summer watching.
Yeah.
But this is why, even though this episode kind of left a bad taste in my mouth, I'm super psyched for next season.
Definitely. I mean, and it sounds like the finale of this season is going to be awesome too.
Right.
So overall, season 2.5, which can we stop calling it 2.5 now? Can we
It's
just
now season
refer to it as season 2?
next week. We can
week?
say it's season
All right.
2.
Overall, it has not been bad. There's been one episode that I really didn't like, which was tonight's, and a phenomenal episode, a good premiere for this half of the season. A lot of good stuff. Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. I will continue to watch it, I guess, as long as they don't continue to insult my intelligence every week.
How bad has it got to... I mean, that's the thing. It's like, I thought it would be interesting if we were... Because we almost did cover The Killing last year.
Yeah.
And it would have been interesting to get like the episode 7 and 8, and everyone's starting to be like, "What the fuck?" Mm-hmm. And then at the end of the season, when by all reports no one was satisfied with the way it ended, and everybody was pissed off. I kind of wonder, like, I'm hoping this show gets really, really good, but it would be kind of fun to go down with the ship. Like, cover a dying show that, like, all the fans are turning against, and every week it's like some, like...
You're rooting for this thing to sink.
No.
Oh, yeah, you are.
No, but, like, honestly, I'm kind of worried about Mad Men.
Well, the twist at the end there was a little weird.
I have a lot of faith with Wiener.
Yep.
But I am very scared that... I don't know, man, that twist in season 4...
All right, this has nothing to do with The Walking Dead.
And no one's listening. This is a spoiler section. We have like 15 people to listen to this.
Sure. Probably everybody does.
No.
That's my guess. Everybody is listening.
I know for a fact because we get email that definitely if you listen to Spoilercast, you wouldn't send us the
Yeah,
emails.
that's true.
Okay, so I guess I'm done if you're not going to let me talk about Mad Men.
All right.
Ass.
Well, I think we spoiled everything we could spoil about next week, so that's it for spoilers.
We did the damn thing on the spoilers this season.
And
thanks
not just
all
we.
to our anonymous source.
Yeah, our anonymous source. Really bringing the thunder. Wow.
Take that, Mazzara. You want his name, you'll have to come on our podcast. I bet
That's the arrangement.
That's right.